What's the deal with the bruise on the felon's hands? Why were the Tate brothers allowed to go to Florida? And what's going on with Marco Rubio? Let's look into that. Welcome to Scrying Out Loud. My name is Trevor. Before we get started, a huge thank you to everybody who watches the videos, likes the videos, comments on the videos. If you've given money to the channel, huge thank you for that. New tarot decks are coming. Um, Remember, this video is going to get posted on February 28th. That's the day that the silent protest of the economic blackout. I put a community post about that. I hope you'll join in that. And just curious, leave me a comment in the chat if you'd be interested in maybe doing a live stream and you joining so you can ask questions in real time. Just curious if anybody's interested in that. Okay, so uh, let's start with Marco Rubio really quickly. He looked so unhappy at the cabinet meeting, and his energy just gives off this kind of, I can't believe I'm putting up with this type of feeling. I I think he's very bothered by where this administration is going. Now, I'm not a big Marco Rubio fan, so don't misinterpret my empathizing with him a little bit as support, which certainly isn't. But I think he was chosen to just get him out of the Senate. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired. I've always felt he would be the first cabinet member to leave. Okay, tell us about Marco Rubio, the current Secretary of State of the United States. See the Seven of Swords type energy, like this theft and deception, but it's like somebody on the outside viewing it. I don't think he's very pleased with the what the felon is doing. I think the Putin Ukraine thing caught him off guard. I don't think he was expecting that. And then he had to travel to Panama and basically be a bully. I don't think he was expecting ever to do that. And then these, strange questions about Greenland, making Canada the 51st state, just the insanity of it all. Just see, it's like the Two of Pentacles. It's like you're juggling too much. It's very overwhelming. Let's see what we get. Shows Marco Rubio. What's he doing? He's got decisions to be made. Like, I think we might see a couple twos, two of swords, two of pentacles, type energy. Let's see. Bombshells and surprises. He was caught off guard. He was not, which is somewhat surprising, I guess, for people who know the felon is crazy. I don't think he thought that the felon would be as crazy as he actually is. With regards especially to the Russia, Ukraine, the Panama, the Greenland, just like this outrageous stuff. This is the problem, and I've sensed this. I don't think Marco Rubio is as financially secure as some other people in the government. Repayments of loans and debts is the challenge. I think he might look good on paper, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually doing well financially. Yeah, here's the Two of Pentacles. He's overwhelmed, too much to juggle, especially with regards to overseas issues. So in the background, those are waves and there's ships on the waves. Um, he's just overwhelmed. In the past, we get the Four of Swords. This is it could be rest, it could be ill health. It's in the past. I wonder if he hasn't even sought out some medical help for like anxiety and depression recently. We get information is just moving too quickly. Things are just constantly coming and changing, and like there's no consistency to this administration. So he doesn't know exactly what to do. The near-term outcome, he's going to start planting some seeds. I think this is planting the seeds to exit the Secretary of State position. He might start looking at colleges and universities that might take him as an administrator, like the president of university, like the senator from Nebraska, Sass became the president of the University of Florida. That was hugely controversial. The students didn't like it. I see Marco Rubio more of like a very religious, liberal, artsy school, maybe. What does he know about the Chariot Card? So if you haven't watched any other videos, um, this card we're kind of associating with trafficking. I'll just leave it at that. But you could think about it as forward momentum or momentum being stunted, even something coming in about money, but it's slow. I wonder if he's put some feelers out about seeking out that. He's very heavy burdens. One could only imagine. I mean, it's if you can put yourself in his shoes and put the politics aside, it's got to be awful, right? It's got to be awful to work for the felon. I would think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just get this feeling that he's very unhappy. I think he's gonna walk away with the Eight of Cups, walking away from something that doesn't serve us. I don't think this position suits him. He feels like he's in this battle and he's already lost it. This is the like wounded in battle card. And here's the Hierophant, the government, the church. It could be morals as well. He might feel like his morals are just being so overly compromised that it's weighing on him. It's like making him physically ill. It's kind of what I'm feeling. He's a pretty passionate person. Um, we get, kind of consistency, but then we have Russia, the Empress card in the background, and he's not able to be consistent on his views on Putin, right? He's having to change them. And I don't know that he has the strength to do that. But justice is coming. And ultimately, I think he's going to end up somewhere else doing something that he likes and enjoys more. Um, and we get the Lovers card, new partnerships. And he kind of feels like he's the spy in the camp, like he knows too much. He wants something that's a bit more moderate, kind of sick of the fighting, where he doesn't have to worry about what comes out. So, yeah, I've I said this to a few people over the course of the last, I don't know, I guess the administration's only been 5 weeks, but it sure feels like a lot longer than that. I never thought he would last as Secretary of State when he was nominated. I always thought he'd get confirmed. I just never thought he would last. Um, and I think he might leave on his own terms. He might get fired, but if he gets fired, it's kind of like he's going to get fired out of a principle, like doing something to really shake the boat. And he'll only do that if he has a sure exit out and it's planned and it's calculated. He's not a very, I don't think he's like dumb I think the felon is kind of dumb. I just don't think he has like any intellectual capability of understanding things. I don't think Marco Rubio's that, but I don't think Marco Rubio's, like Einstein level of thought of really how this would end. I think he just thought, oh, prestige, and then, you know, but when you leave the Secretary of State's job, you're not a senator anymore, right? So kind of, maybe he'll run for governor of Florida in 26. It's a possibility. That might be a good way to exit. We'll just have to keep our. Okay, so the Tate brothers, Andrew Tate. So if you're sensitive to these issues like myself and a lot of people I know, you might not want to listen to this, and that's fine. So they face charges of rape, trafficking, and money laundering in Romania. And they were allowed to come to the United States. The lawyers for some of the victims in the UK said they were only allowed to come to the United States because of the felon and that the felon would make them feel safe here. DeSantis, on the other hand, said they weren't welcome. Which, good on DeSantis. I guess that's maybe one good thing he's done. Okay. So was the felon involved in getting them into the United States? And was he aware they were coming? Was he aware? Did he help them get into the US? Help with the visas or whatever's needed? I think so. I'm very clearly in the water seeing the King of Pentacles, which is the card that I used for the felon. Well, there you go. King of Pentacles. I think that's a big yes. I might get some more information looking at the rest of the spread. So the problem was the message, right? People were going to have this very passionate message about them coming. It's not like I don't know if they tried to keep it under the radar. It certainly didn't stay under the radar if they did. That's interesting. So I had this thought too, like a few seconds ago, going back to that Air Force plane that went to Moscow. Maybe, Putin might give them safe harbor. Maybe not. There was a crossroads in the past, like a fork in the road was in the past. We get the end of something, the world card, like a big ending. We get the Ten of Cups, reunions and celebrations. They feel like they're getting away with something. We'll ask that question, but they feel like they're getting away with something. They feel like they're getting a new beginning. Maybe they're even feeling a little bit more secure financially, not so worried about. I think they're fairly well off, but legal bills add up quickly, and thoughts of getting money taken away from court cases can happen pretty fast. Things will happen fast. News will come in quickly. And the hopes and fears, we get something coming forward about money. I think this is a fear. I think they're fearing that something else is going to come out with the way they've been dealing with money. We do get confinement as the outcome. That's good. This could be a physical confinement. Sometimes it's a mental confinement. They might feel not welcome now that they're here. Although you know, the one brother I think I've seen speak, the other one I don't think I ever have. I've never intentionally looked out to watch them speak. I think the one brother's personality is such that he incapable of feeling shame. Something's under the surface, something's coming forward with the moon card. And then we get surprising messages as well. And we get justice underneath. That's good. A surprising new beginning, an illusion and delusion. Okay, the Seven of Swords. They think they're getting away with something. I don't think they are. So let's just ask the question straight out. Um, Before we do that, let's ask one more question about the film. The felon knew about this, so why, or at least for entertainment purposes only. The King of Pentacles popped right out. I saw it, whatever it was. Um, Is the felon in any way entangled in the crimes that they're accused of? Let's ask that. Is the felon in any way entangled in the crimes they're accused of? Water's very still. Usually, like I can see ripples, even though I mean you can't see them, but see, I see the water doesn't look still usually when I look at it, but it looks very still. It's odd. Something about money. Some something, some message about money. Moving out of troubled waters. Six of Swords. Judgment. I think it feels like there's some sort of connection. I don't know how strong it is. In the past, trying to keep things and hidden, trying to keep the lion behind the fence, so to speak. Something that we don't know, perhaps a little bit on the dark side, which is not surprising with the high priestess. Something we're unaware of for sure. Yeah, I think it has to do with money. Get the Ten of Pentacles in the near term outcome. Perhaps he owes them money, for entertainment purposes only. We get loss. Maybe he's on the losing end of a scam. Immaturity, a spy in the camp. He might be scared that they might know something about him. We get confinement again. This is in the hopes and fears. I I think this is a fear that they're going to be jailed or the felon's going to be jailed. We have bombshells and surprises in the as the first outcome card. I think we might be surprised by the relationship that they have, or relationships may be too strong of a word, the connections that they have. We get some sort of emotional message coming forward. I think we might hear from more victims. And we get the victory card. I don't think this is their victory. I think this is the people's victory. Planting seeds, one plan doesn't work, try another. It's about the people. They're going to be left out in the cold. Why? They had relationships that led to their downfall. The cards really can't be more clear about it. So, yeah, I think the felon tenuous connection. I don't think you're going to find, a ton of pictures of them together more than, and you might find one or two, but I don't think you're going to see anything big surface that we don't already know. There'll be maybe some speculation coming forward. Okay, let's just ask, will they be convicted? Will they go back to Romania and be convicted? I fear they might try to flee to Russia. Will they go back to Romania? Yeah, maybe not on their own accord, but I think the conviction part is yes. Whether they go back freely is a different story. It's somewhat surprising they're allowed to travel, being charged with such serious crimes and that one would assume would carry quite the amount of jail time. Well, they have everything they need. the Nine of Pentacles. The challenge is there is wish fulfillment. I don't think they're going to get their way. The Hanged Man, this is pausing, suspension. This card came up for, just fair warning. This card came up for Epstein and for John Luke Burnell, and we all know how they ended. Their influences in the past, they had more abilities in the past. Their strength has waned. Something's inevitable. Something's coming towards them. The ship's going to come in. Something's inevitable. Has to do with family celebrations and reunions. Explosive information coming forward, maybe even more than what we know right now. Really heavy burdens. These are all good cards. I mean, bad cards for them, good cards for us. The hopes and fears is that, Romania knows what they're doing, that the leadership there is going to be consistent, the laws will be enforced fairly. Again, it's about families and endings, walking away, and tough choices. They might be offered a plea bargain of some sort that they have to take. The King of Wands, passion, the lovers, the High Priestess, something that we can't see. We get victory. I think this is victory for the courts. We get the card for the Felon, and then repayment of loans and debts. Too much on their plate. They can't handle it. The Two of Pentacles. Why? It's the truth. The truth is what's too much. And then the Five of Pentacles being left out in the cold. I feel pretty good that they're going to get back to Romania one way or another and be convicted. So some good news. Okay. What's the deal with the Felon's hands? So I got a few images about this. It's been a few days since this story appeared, and several of you have asked me about it. So he had a bruise on like this, I guess it would be this hand, looking at the picture, like on this top part of his hand. And the White House said, oh, it's because he's been shaking so many hands, which, that's patently absurd. You shake hands, you don't make any sense, right? So there's a few things that could be going on here. So the first thing I have in my notes that I wrote down was Joe Rogan. And on the Joe Rogan interview, well, not the interview, it was like the day after his interview with Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan said something along the lines of, yada, yada, yada. He was here for like 6 hours and he didn't even have to get up to urinate. That was the first like thing I heard when I was meditating. And the next thing I saw was the Four of Swords, which is ill health. But I was drawn towards the four part, which is its Roman numerals, right? So it's IV. It could be possible that there was an IV here. Now you have to be like, usually they put IVs here, but in some instances they have to put them here if they're going to be in for a long time. So that's a possibility. But the audio about not urinating for 6 hours made me think that maybe there's something going on, like with his kidneys. Now, when we've read on his health, we've gotten the Three of Swords a lot. That doesn't mean that there's not something going on with his heart, too. Both things can be true. He could have multiple issues. So let's just ask the question. Was the bruise on the hand a symptom of a health condition? It's like flashing, yes. What's the symptom? Like, this can also happen as people get older, they tend to bruise easier. We have a lady who lives next to us who's 97, and she bruises very easily. He's only 78, so it's still. Here's the what's this shoe? I think so. I think get the Six of Wands. This is victory. We get the Six of uh, Swords. He's not able to move out of the troubled waters. We get another six. That's going to be too much. No, we don't. We get the Two of Pentacles at a crossroads. We get the Hierophant in the past. Could be the church, could be the government, could be the Pope. It's in the past. We get the card for the Democrats in the sky. Walking away from something that doesn't serve us. Okay, so this just came to me. So if he could be on blood thinners, that's another possibility, right? That would make him bruise easier. Does he stop taking them now that people have noticed? Would he be that thin-skinned? Not literally. It's kind of a funny pun. Um, that he'd actually stop taking a medicine if the medicine was the reason why. I feel like he would. I feel like he's that type of person. We get the magician manifestation, really heavy burdens. He feels troubled by this, that this was in the news. He gets agitated very easily. We get the world card in the hopes and fears. This is the end of a big cycle. Could just be the end. Could be the fear for him, the hope for others. We get the Ten of Pentacles again. This is an ending, passing things down to the next generation, one generation ending, the next generation beginning. Yeah. Get the Death card again. And the card for him, the King of Pentacles. So, yeah, this is definitely a health issue. It's got new partnerships, perhaps with doctors. Uh, they're trying to fight off something. I don't know what it is, but we have the Devil card. This is like what I was feeling here. It's like his narcissism might get in the way of his treatment plan for whatever it is, and that might lead to this. Like, if he stuck to this, that might not happen, but he might be so narcissistic that he's worried about his appearance so much that he might end up going away, and we get something really explosive happening with the Tower card. So I don't think I was going to ask another question on it, but I don't think we need to. I think that pretty much sums it up. I think there's something going on with his health. We've thought that for a while. I think this is a symptom of it. Uh, Maybe it's some problems with his kidneys. Could be some blood thinners. Maybe he had a stroke and they're hiding it. He was slurring his speech for a long time. That would be a reason to be put on blood thinners. Some of you have said he has a stent in his heart. If that's true, that would certainly be a reason to be on blood thinners. So, yeah. Anyhow, well, thanks for watching. I'll be back with a video probably on Sunday or Monday. Thank you.